Hey everyone, welcome to Real Talk with Ellison, and I am Ellison. Listen, if you are on Facebook, please go ahead and hit the like button. And if you are on YouTube, also hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure you click the bell because the bell is what tells you when Real Talk with Ellison goes live. Well, on Real Talk with Ellison, listen, we talk about shows that impact the community, the church as a whole. So with that being said, we're about to get this show started. Hey guys, welcome to Real Talk with Ellison, and I am Ellison. Listen, we have a great show on tonight. I am finishing out this month with my boo, y'all, my other whole. He's here with me.
Hey,
it's
everybody.
Good to have you again.
Thanks for having me.
So we are discussing keeping romance alive.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we are discussing on today. So listen, we want your input, right? Because yes, I might be licensed. Yes, you might be certified and all that other good stuff, but we don't know it all. So you guys chime in and give us some feedback and let us know, what do you think about romance, right? So, I was reading about romance because I always do a little bit of research before I do the show because I want to make sure I'm educated on what I'm talking about, right? So So I was reading where that romance is now becoming one of the biggest reasons why couples are not staying together. Like it used to be finances, right? And other different things like that. But now romance is up there. Romance. So I don't know about you guys, but how many of you guys, because we struggle with it. We struggle. I'm coming out the gate. I'm coming out the gate. I'm being transparent. We struggle with romance.
Yeah.
Right? We struggle with romance. And before we get into our story, I do want to share a little bit about, how romance evolves over time.
Okay.
Right? So you want to go first?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. So what I believe is, and what I see is, when we're first married, right? When we're first married, when we're first dating, we're so excited. We're together. Everybody's got their best foot forward. Everybody's showing up. Everybody's positive, right? So most of our engagements are positive, right? Most of our experiences are positive ones. Fast forward to life be lifing, and now we married. Conflict be happening, right? So conflict be happening. The romance tends to dwindle. That's what I think, anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, especially for guys in the beginning, we're pretty good at romancing because we're trying to win you over.
Right.
Right. We're trying to figure it out. But then as we get married, our focus shifts from trying to win you over to now it's shifted towards provision or trying to take care of the family or provide. And so it kind of gets lost in the shuffle of, well, I already have you. This is more important, to take care of the family. So from my perspective, I think that's how it always kind of went.
Right.
It's like, it's not that I don't love you. What do you mean I don't love you? Like, yeah, I give you romance here and there when I can, but
right.
The focus...
Y'all heard that, right?
The focus was on taking care of the family, right?
Yes. Yes. So, in the beginning, again, that love, those butterflies, that feeling we have, right? That's why we don't want each other to be out of each other's sight. We want to sit there and we want to be together all the time. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Yes, complacency happens, right? We no more acting like rabbits. Come on now, we all grown. We not acting like rabbits no more because what? like Tara Dawn said, right? Complacency sets in. You said that it shifted from winning the young lady to now providing for the young lady. So my question to you is it difficult, and I know we're not speaking for all men and all women, so know that, but is it difficult for men to focus on the provision part as well as the romance?
I would say yeah, in some degree, and everybody's different. It's a good thing about me, and it's also a bad thing about me. I'm a hyper focused individual, and when I'm doing something I'm engaged in, nothing else has my attention. I can't focus on anything else
Right.
except that until I'm done with that. Right. And so if I'm focusing on work, I'm focusing on ministry or church or something, nothing else has I'm not thinking. It's not that I don't care.
Right.
It's just not registering in my mind that it has to be done.
Right.
So if it doesn't go on my schedule, I won't do it a lot of times.
So I feel like it's interesting, right? And again, I'm talking about our relationship now because you said it's not on my radar. But I feel like, and this was like, probably about year 4, year 5, maybe, or something like that, right? Because by that time all the newness wore off. I'm like, you're not romantic, right? And I would say things like, I need some romance. I need some romance. I need some romance. And I don't know if you ladies can leave me out there hanging by myself, but it's like, how did you not know? And how was this not on your radar when I'm constantly saying, I need some romance, right? So
Well, it seemed like you were saying I need romance all the time. So for me to go and get a card after you said I need romance, well, you only got the card because you said I need romance.
Right.
And then like another week later or 2 weeks later, like you say it again, it's like, man, I don't even get a chance to do anything. But the truth of the matter is I wasn't really focused on what you were telling me that you needed.
Yes.
To me, romance wasn't a need. Like that's just, we just courting. That's something I did to get you. And now I have to focus on more important things. And I didn't understand that wooing you and being romantic with you was actually something that you needed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yes. You said that you wanted to provide. And that's the one thing that was like, yes, men. Thank you for all of you guys who are stepping up and providing and being that man of the house, right? Being that dad. Thank you for all of that. But at the same time, you're taking care of the house. What about taking care of me? And I believe that's where I didn't at the time know how to use my words and say, okay, well, my heart, you haven't ministered to my heart, right? Instead, it almost came across as I was aggressive. I was almost snatching him up saying I need to be romanced, right? Because I can remember saying stuff like, oh, you know all the stats about your favorite football team, though. I bet you can learn, how to work on that car out there. So how come you can't look up what romance means, right? So I had an attitude with it, and I did. But how did that impact you?
It made me mad because I'm like, okay, yeah, trying to think of a nice way to put it, like romance, that doesn't interest me. So of course I'm not looking up how to be romantic. I'm looking at stats in football because that's my getaway. That's what relaxes me. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to romance me because I don't care about it,
Right.
but that's something that you needed. So
Yeah.
I had to come to the understanding that I have to put in a little time and try to figure this out because I didn't come from a household where my father was a romantic person, right? I would hear him tell my mom, I love you every now and then, or, they give a kiss throughout the day. I would see them maybe sometimes, but as far as being romantic, nah, Rodney wasn't doing that.
Right.
I didn't see that.
But you said something powerful. You said, I don't need romance, right? You said I don't need romance is something you needed. So how important, and truth be told, there are a lot of men out there that are romantic, right? And the wife is not. So how would you say, if I'm the one that needs romance, what should I do? Or I'm the one that doesn't, right? I'm the one that doesn't need romance. What are some things I should do? Because isn't it important for me to study my partner?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you have to understand that what your partner needs may not be how you love, right? And so it's important that you understand what your partner needs as far as, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. So if you're saying I need romance, for me to say I don't, I've said this before. I've said I don't have what you're asking me for.
Right. You did.
I said, you're asking me to do these. I can't. I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So it requires me to really look at you being aggressive. Really, I had to look at the hurt behind the words, because I'm like, man, here she go again. She just nagging me, just bugging me. But it wasn't that. It was you were projecting your hurt, and I wasn't seeing your hurt through the words. You know what I mean? So I had to see your hurt through the words to be able to understand. I need to do something to minister to her emotions that I don't know how to do, right? And so that's the moment you have to look in the mirror and say, hey man, when you was 19, what was it that you did?
Right.
Because I did something.
That's good. That's good.
When I was a little slim fella, right, with hair, right, I did something back then. I mean, I got you, right?
Right.
So I had to try to figure it out. You know, and it's different when you're living with each other every single day. Because I think when I was younger, those were expressions to show you that I cared because I wasn't with you all the time. But that's not how I came across. You know what I mean?
No, right. So, and if we can back it up, when we were dating, like, I got, oh girl, listen, I got poems, I got teddy bears, I got dinner. I mean, I just lavished in the romance, like, ooh, right? So I'm expecting that's going to happen once we get together. But like we said earlier in the show, life starts happening, conflict starts happening, priorities start shifting a little bit. But we should always make sure we keep each other as a priority, right? And I do feel like you drifted away from what you did to win my heart over. Right? Because I feel like you ministered to my heart. And then, it wasn't about you didn't know how. It was more so about, okay, well, do you not want to anymore? Is it different? Right? And I like what Miss Cooper said, or I'm just going to say yes, because I love the little doggy. It says, but you can learn. And you're right. You can learn your partner. And you used to say, you're so difficult. Right? You used to say you're so difficult. So when she says,
I used to say that.
Right. Sometimes you don't say it much anymore. Not that, and anyway, not to me. I don't hear it.
I'm trying to remember the last time I said it.
Right. I don't know. But, so you can learn. So that goes back to studying our partners. What is it that our partners need, right? So that they can feel romanced. What does that even look like? A lot of people don't even know what the word romance is.
Yeah. So I think when I was younger, being romantic was a way to show you that I loved you. I didn't have a lot anyway. Now, that to show you how I loved you was everything I was providing for you, everything I was giving you. So when you're saying, hey, I don't want that, I want this, that to me, that bothered me. Right? Because I'm like, hold on. Like I'm going on deployments, I'm sweating, I'm bleeding, I'm doing all of this stuff to give you everything that my mother never had, my kids never had, and you tell me you don't want that? That's not enough for you. Right. So then it became, what else do you want from me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that almost had you resentful and bitter.
It made me bitter. It did make me bitter, and it did make me resentful because I felt like you was ungrateful.
Yep.
And it wasn't so much that you was ungrateful and unappreciative for what I was able to provide for you, God willing, but you wanted a connection that we had in the beginning that I was no longer engaged in.
Right. And, for me, I didn't understand because it was almost as if I got cut off cold turkey, right? So I wouldn't take an addict and tell him, okay, just stop, because now you got to go through the withdrawals. So my anger was a part of the withdrawals, right? As like, I know you know what to do because you did it. Right. But yet you're saying I'm difficult. But don't you remember that the card was enough? Don't you remember that the poem was enough? Because the poem was written from you. Right. So I was like, don't you remember those little things? So why all of a sudden now it was almost as if the more money we were getting, the more it seemed more challenging to be romantic to me. And I was still starving for the handwritten poems and stuff like that. So I was getting bitter and you were getting bitter. How in the world can we be romantic in that?
Yeah, well, again, I think it goes back to, like, I never seen my father do those things. So to me, being the romantic part, we've been together 27 years, 28 years, 29 years, 20. Okay. Those were things that adolescents do. That's things you do when you're young. You know, I'm thinking that. Listen, hear me out. I'm like this is what I did when I was young. You know what I mean? Now that I'm older, I'm not focused on those things. That's what I was thinking. Why you make that face?
I'm listening.
Because I didn't see my father do that.
Right.
As a man.
So, okay. All right. I don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
So when do we stop using...
Don't sound like my case is has very
I'm
much
going to repeat what she said. She said, but you can learn. So when do we stop using that as an excuse? Right? Your father or my mother or my parents or whatever. When do we stop using that as an excuse? Because now we became one and we're setting our own family dynamics, right? And I'm saying this is what I need and you're telling me this is what you need, because just like I needed romance, you needed respect, right? So like when, and this is just to help couples out, when do we stop saying I didn't see my mama do this and I didn't see my daddy do this, and listen to what our spouses say they need, right? Or that they would want, like, because I wanted that from you. I didn't want it from anybody else. And you know, I don't think I'm too bad of a, person, but I didn't want it from anybody else. I wanted it from you. So when do we get away from I didn't see mama and daddy do this and that wasn't how I was raised? Do we get away from that?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think I use that as an excuse to you all the time. I always said my dad didn't do that.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Well, if we're using that excuse, if anybody's using that excuse, well, I didn't see my dad do that, or that's how my mom did it. I think we have to really take a look at ourselves and realize that, well, this ain't your mom or your dad in this relationship.
That's right.
And your relationship with your spouse is going to be different than the relationship your mother and your father had together, right? We also have to come to the understanding that everything our parents did wasn't 100% good. It wasn't always right. Just because that's how they did it doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to really look at yourself and say, where can I improve in this area? And is my spouse worth it to do the hard work to try to be better? And I'm still working. You know, it's like I'm not great at it, but I still try to make an effort.
Right. So that's, and see, ooh, you said, is my spouse worth it, right? You said that out of your mouth, but that's what we as the women are saying. We're like, are we not worth it? Are we not worth a Google search? Are we not worth a Hey Siri? Are we not worth it? And to be honest, and I'm talking about me here, that's how I was feeling. I was feeling like I wasn't worth the thought behind it, because again, you gave me poems and stuff like that. That was your thought, right? So when you have the man that's giving the flowers, or the lady that's setting up the romantic dinners, or whoever the romantic person is, and then you stop, we tend to think about that and we're like, are we not worth it?
Yeah. So then what happened is, like, when it comes time for those special days, or like birthdays or holiday, like, I get severe anxiety. Like I'm not even joking. Like I would be like,
do you still get anxiety?
Yeah, sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was like, there's this idea. I'm thinking she has this idea of what romance is, and I have no clue how to get up to that idea. I can't make that idea. So is this going to be enough? Is this car going to be right? Is this reservation at this restaurant going to be okay? Is this place that I booked for us to stay at, is that good enough?
Yes.
There's always, and if you notice, I say, do you like it?
Right,
do you
right,
like
right.
It? Do you like this?
Yeah.
I say that a lot because I don't know.
You do.
But so I have severe anxiety. I don't have anxiety about a lot of really nothing. But when it comes to you, like as far as making reservations and things, try to make sure that I'm hitting that mark, because that was such a big issue in our relationship that I want to make sure that I do it right. Because I don't want to make that mistake again. And
I think that's what we do too. Sometimes, ladies, listen, sometimes we do, because I remember he was setting up, the pressure. Yes.
Yes.
So, and we got to relieve them of that, right? We got to relieve them of that. And I remember one time he was setting up a staycation getaway, right? And for whatever reason, the hotel came to my email, and don't y'all judge me either when I say this. So I was like, who's going to the Best Western?
Hold on.
Remember
That was a while ago. Though.
I know. I'm just saying it was a while ago. It was a while ago. But I was like, who's going to Best Western? And so,
my wife
you know,
bougie, y'all.
by me saying by me saying that, it shut him down.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do anything, right? So we got to be careful, right? Regardless to who the romantic person is like not to shut them down, right? But to educate. So I had to let him know where, you know, where I came from, what I'm used to. And I'm like, do we got 4 stars?
She said, I don't do 3 stars. Like, what are you talking about? What's that? I don't do, if it ain't 4 stars and above, I ain't staying. Like, what?
Right. Instead of me seeing the effort, right? And that was so important. Instead of me seeing the effort and instead of me graciously talking about it, I was like,
yeah, and that,
you know,
that will make it hard because then it feels like, well, the things that I'm trying to pick out, she's not going to like. So then it isn't just the hotel. Then it's, is she going to like this ring? Is she going to like this card? Is she going to like the flowers? And everything becomes a big event to where it causes great stress and mental anguish.
Yes.
Trying to figure out, is she going to be happy or is she just going to look at me sideways?
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to live with her being upset about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I like that. The comment, which was
going back to the beginning.
How about going back to the beginning? And that's what I was saying.
Yeah, but going back to the beginning, we didn't stay in the hotels.
No,
we didn't stay in or resorts or any of that. But when we did go away, our first time we went away,
though?
We did go to a resort in Myrtle Beach. But yeah.
But wasn't we happy though? Like I feel like I don't want to go back there, but I feel like if we can replicate that now, that the picnics in the room, the sharing the soda, the ice cream, like we didn't have any money. So all of that was so romantic to me, right? And it's like, I feel like the more money we started making, the pressure just came out of nowhere to do better. And I'm like Tara Dawn said, go back to the beginning. Where's my poem? Where's my little note left in the car? Or where's this or where that, right? That's what I wanted. And most men think women are difficult, but that's what we want. And y'all don't.
We think you're difficult. Hold on, let me see. Women want us to be strong, right?
Yes.
But you expect us to be sensitive.
With us.
You want
a safe place. A safe place.
You don't want us to be your father, right? But you want us to be a lead, an example, to lead the family. But you want us to listen to what you got to say.
Yes.
On a lot. You know, you like to tell us what we need to do. You don't want no
strongly suggest.
No sissy, but
strongly
sometimes
suggest.
you talk to us like you're our kids. But you expect,
and you're right.
But you expect us to be a Superman in bed. You expect us to be able to work on cars, build houses.
In the beginning, we were rabbits. Tara Dawn said, "Go back to the beginning."
A lot of the stuff. So I think it feels like for a guy, it's like I ain't expecting make me a sandwich every now and then, and give me some gloving. And for the most part, I'm happy. I'm good. So I think a lot of times we feel like there's a lot of expectation on us that we feel we can't always live up to.
Yeah, and I can definitely agree with you on that. But I do feel like that as a woman too, that we have the expectation of make sure dinner's done, especially if we're at home, right? And even if we work, sometimes we're feeling like that pressure is make sure dinner's done, make sure the kids are taken care of, make sure the house is clean, make sure we show up for our sexual duties at night after we done worked 8 hours, did homework, cleaned the house, taught the kid how to ride the bike, did conference call with everybody else, made sure you was good and showered, and now I gotta perform, like whatever in the bed. But so I feel like the pressure is on both, but that's where conversation happens so that we don't have to put that pressure, right? You want me to perform and show up in bed and swing from the chandelier, then get the kids together.
So what can we learn from this, guys? That we don't really have it that bad, right? if they're doing all that stuff, then we can be a little bit more consistent.
Right.
We're trying to be romantic, right?
Right. So that's what it is. So Tara Dawn said, and be consistent with it. It's not about why it's not enough. It's what she got used to. It's from what she got used to when you first got her.
Yeah. So what I used to hear is what you did to get her, you got to do to keep her.
Right. But what happens?
Well, I think like I said, I think life happens. It's not so much that you don't care about the individual. It's just it gets pushed kind of to the back burner because you're focused on other things.
Right.
Yeah.
It does, right? So part of romance, and it's so funny. She said, "I love that you make him giggle like a schoolboy." So that's part of romance.
January, hold on. I was on the ship with her. Hey, Warren, my fellow Mustang.
So yeah, but you know
because she probably used to me looking mean all the time. That's what it is.
But the thing about it is, that's what a lot of couples don't do. They don't laugh together anymore. Life takes over. Laughing, believe it or not, is part of romance because, right, if I'm sitting there and if I'm having joy and if I'm laughing, my soul is happy and I want to give you me.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to do stuff like that. But that's part of the problem. She said, "Hey, well, I don't think I know you, but hey, girl, hey." So, but and I think that's a big thing because people don't understand that you can build up romance and you can tear down romance too.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that is a huge big part because there are several behaviors that can dampen romance. Who wants to be romantic with a nagging woman all the time? I'm trying to figure out how much more yard work. Matter of fact, I'm about to go over to the neighbor's house and do their yard work too because I'm getting up out of there. Am I lying?
I think the grass needs to get mowed. You just mowed it the other day, right? But yeah, I mean, the Bible says that it's better to have a millstone tied about his neck and toss it to the sea than to live in a house with a railing woman. That's the truth.
That is the truth.
And it's only because if she's railing, it's usually because there's a need that's not being met.
Most of the time.
And most of the time. And that's the thing I think we have to get to as men is realizing that just because you provide doesn't mean you're meeting every need. Right? So provision is a need that is important to men because it's just ingrained in us to provide. If you're a real man, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. If you're a real man, provision is ingrained in you to take care of your family.
Yes.
Right? It doesn't mean you have to be the breadwinner and make the most money.
That's good.
But part of your makeup is to provide and to ensure the safety of your family.
Right.
Right.
So what I think, right, is that both of us have to show up. Both partners have to show up for the romance. It's not fair for us to just expect you guys to give us what we want, and then we're not giving what you want either.
Yeah. Right?
Because respect was real to him. Respect was real. And I'm from here's that excuse. I'm raised in New York. I'm a strong Black woman. We were told to have our own and whatever we was told. So what you're not going to do is, right? So that mentality alone came with a lot of mouth.
A lot of mouth.
You didn't have to agree. It came, but it did. It came with a lot of mouth and it was hard. I'm just going to say it for him because this is what I felt later on once I learned. Is how in the world can he be romantic to me? How in the world can he do for me when I'm wearing my pants and I'm snatching his off too? Right? I'm not allowing him to be that man. So I'm not respecting him enough. So my behavior wasn't even given of like, why would I want to be romantic to you? Loudmouth, disrespectful human being. Because he never called me names.
That's right. I would say
to my face anyway.
I would say that you tried to snatch the pants. That's what caused a lot of the friction and the pushback was because of the way that we would interact. I didn't understand why you would, not so much that you would say anything disrespectful, but the way that you would talk to me. I'm like, why? Who are you? Think you are? Like, you don't talk to me like that. My mama don't talk to me like that. So for me, that was hard for me to understand that if you respect me, why would you talk to me that way?
Right.
Why would you talk down to me that way?
Right. And my comeback was I was talking down trying to get what I want, but that's the wrong way to do it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I was talking down almost, I don't know the word to use, but almost trying, because I wasn't going to scare him, guys, but I was talking down to him because I wasn't getting my need met, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Right. So I said that before, that there's different behaviors that we do. Right. So, we can tear down the romance in our relationships when we are harsh, when we criticize, disrespectful, and that unresolved conflict. Because I know most of us got something under the rug that's unresolved, right? So those are some things that can definitely tear down why we are no longer romantic. Because if I'm constantly critical of you,
Yeah.
right? How can you, is that going to make you be romantic to me? She
Ab-
says insecurity can also be a reason. Yeah, definitely insecurities,
yeah.
right? Because if I'm insecure, oh my goodness, that comes with so much. That comes with the criticism, because now I'm trying to, criticize you, or I'm trying to almost force you into doing something. And it's like, I'm going about it all the wrong way.
Yeah, because the criticism is not going to make me want to be romantic.
Right.
Criticism is going to make me resent being with you because you're only pointing out everything you don't like about me. So
Mm,
why do you why that's not going to make me feel romantic towards you, because obviously you don't like me.
yeah,
You keep pointing out everything that I don't do.
that's right.
So that has can't be the case. On the other
Hmm.
side though, if you are having issues with trying to be romantic or being romantic or even receiving the romance that's given,
Hmm.
I think if you encourage them when they give the romance, that goes a long way to say, "Oh, babe, I appreciate that," or think, "Oh, I see you trying. I see you doing better."
Right.
That will go a long way to help them move along towards being more consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was a good point that you made out, because we can, and I know I had to get away from it because I'm like, so he gave me a card. Guess I'll get another one by the end of the year. I wasn't even appreciating the
Hey,
I
God,
was
and then what's gonna happen? She said that. Well, you ain't gonna get no card then. Like if that, like dang, that wasn't even good enough.
right. So, we got to just be mindful. And I like what Tara Dawn said about insecurities can also be a reason, because, yes, if I'm insecure, I'm so busy looking at all of the maybes or the assumptions or whatever is happening, that I'm not really able to see what's happening right here with us. I'm missing us,
Mhm.
right? And part of missing us is because I am being critical, judgmental, or I'm trying to force you to be romantic to me, right? And that's kind of where my harsh tone was coming from. I'm forcing you to be romantic to me because you did it in the beginning. I don't understand why you can't do it now. So I think that was really, really
Well,
good.
and also your life, you growing, your occupation, things you do has a lot to do with how you grow together, how you interact with one another. I was gone a lot, being in the military,
Yeah.
being in the Navy. I did 3 deployments in 4 years. And those
Mhm.
were 8 month deployments
Mhm.
in 4 years. I did three of them, right? And so being romantic was not like high on the priority list. It was don't get killed on the flight deck. Make sure that when you are home that you are able to spend some time with the kids and with your wife. But buying dozen roses and cars and cakes and candy and going out to dinner, I wasn't thinking about a lot of that
Right.
because I was really tired a lot because we were ramping up to go right back out to sea.
Yeah.
So my occupation, and that's not an excuse, but my occupation led me to a place where I emotionally pulled away because that's what I needed to do in order to survive at sea
Right.
in the Navy. But that got me over while I was gone, but it did damage to my relationship when I came home
Mhm.
because now I got to reconnect and I got to be romantic, and I don't really know how to do that no more.
Right. Yeah, I think that was huge, because when you were gone, I missed you so much. So when you came home, I just wanted all of our time spent. I wanted to catch you up. I wanted to talk. I wanted to walk on the beach. I wanted to do all this. And all you really wanted to do was just sit there and vegetate and sleep. Right? And it's not
It's true.
because, I mean, it's true, because you was around all these people all the time, but I'm like, but you wasn't with me. Right? So sometimes it does, not sometimes, we just got to make sure we understand each other too. So understanding is a big part of romance. What I didn't know about romance, though, is one of the things that can hinder couples from having lack of romance is how you respond. We always say response is key, but when I was reading it, and it said that how your partner expresses like happiness when you share good news, like a promotion or some joyful event,
Mhm.
and your partner's, oh, yeah, good. Right? You just shut it down. I didn't, when I was doing my research on this, I did not know that that can hinder us from romance because, and I got to thinking about it. I'm like, because now it's going to stop me from sharing things with you. Right? But that would be you. I'd be like, babe, like that. He'd be like,
and I'm like, yeah, like not it's not that it's like not something good. It's just not making me jump up and down like like oh wow because I think because if I go oh wow cool like that sounds forced and fake and I'm not a forced and I'm not a fake person, so I'm just like yeah that's good.
But when we say response is key, response or the lack of happiness and joy and compassion when you respond to good news, happy news, that can actually put a wedge between you and cause lack of romance.
Yeah, because then she's not gonna tell you nothing no more. She's gonna call her friend, her girlfriend, and then you'll be cut out of the picture because there's that connection's not there no more. So what's really you're looking for isn't so much the oh my gosh, that's great. It's just like oh wow, babe, that's good. Oh my gosh, that's great. You know what you're looking for is oh wow, babe, that's good news.
Yes.
You know, how did that make you feel? You know?
Right.
Or a little bit more dialogue than just okay.
Yes, a little bit more dialogue. Yes. Emotional support. Emotional support, right? Which is a great 2 words. But what does emotional support look like when, like you said, I did 3 deployments,
I'm not
3
emotional
8-long deployments. We gonna get to that part too. 3 8-long deployments, and you detach emotionally, and I want emotional support. I'm not emotional.
I'm not emotional. Yeah, that's something praise God, I've been coming out of. God's really helped deliver me from. But and I wrote about that in the book. Developing that military mindset to emotionally just pull away, because your emotions cannot be attached to carrying out orders, giving orders. Things that we do in the military, so a lot of times when things happen, like we've had people pass away on the ship, we've had people get severely injured on the flight deck, and it was like, okay, well, we got stuff to do. We still got to fly. We still got to complete the mission. So that was bad. We'll deal with it later. So that emotional support, being able to engage in those emotions, we didn't get to do that when I was a young person in the Navy. They're doing a different with the younger generation now. But when I was younger, there wasn't time for any of that. So it affected me when I came home, and you would be like, oh, this is bothering me. And I'm just like, okay, like, so what do we got to do to get past it? Like that's, I was just focused on getting to the next mission.
Right. For my military folks out there, he was treating my emotions like that little green book he was writing stuff in. Y'all know that green book y'all had.
Yeah, that little wheel book. I used to keep that joke in my back pocket all the time.
Right, but that's what I'm almost felt like a checklist, right? And you can't be romantic feeling like a checklist.
Whoa, yes. Can't feel like a checkbook. She said Jesus wept. Emotional reasons that are sometimes misunderstood. Yes. So I think what you're getting at with the little wheel book, for those of you who don't know, was just like it's a little green notepad, and everything we had to do for the day, we'd always write down, important stuff we had to get accomplished. And when you finish, I always mark it off and fold the page over and go to the next one.
Right.
You didn't want to feel like you was just a check in the box for the day.
Right.
Oh, let me send her a card. Or let me get a flower.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Right. I wanted spontaneity. I have an issue saying that word, but that's what I wanted. I wanted you to be spontaneous. Right? Jump out the car and go pluck a rose out of somebody's yard. I don't need no flowers from a grocery store or flower shop. Pick a rose, right? So that's what I needed. But because you was emotionally detached, to you or to me, it felt like even that was hard to just think about. And guys, we got 4 rose bushes. 4 rose bushes. Anyway.
Well, I think also you have to realize the other person is, you're not the only person in the relationship. And so while you may be having issues with what's going on with you, the other person may be hurting also. And they're just, maybe emotionally drained, just tired, just, I just kind of don't want to do nothing but just vegetate, just be here. Yeah. While those aren't excuses, there is a reason for why you're not getting what you're looking for. And I think the conversation has to be had, and in a safe place, in an adult manner, so that without the kicking, screaming, fighting, and arguing, so that you can really express, hey, this is what I really need from you. Now, before we go any further, because I know you're gonna say, I've done that. I did that a bunch of times and I still wasn't getting it from you, right? It has to click in the mind, right? And so for me, I had to get to the point where I was like, what she,
Yes, because
she
it
just
won't
keeps on
clicking.
and she just keeps on. Like, she doesn't see that everything that I'm doing for her, but that's not necessarily what she thrives on.
Right.
It's not what lights her up, you know? That's what makes me feel good about being a husband because I did all this stuff for her, but that ain't what she's looking for,
Right.
you know, at the moment. So I think I have to be able to accept
Yeah.
what
You
you're looking for.
right. And I feel like I was saying it, but it wasn't it got ladies, it won't clicking. It just won't clicking. So the other part is what I did was I got a little envelope and I cut out stuff I like and I put it in an envelope, or I screenshot stuff and I send it like this. These are the things that I like. So there's no excuse. And I don't mind. Some of us are saying, well, I shouldn't have to do all of that. Well, then just keep being upset and not being romance, but and not getting what you like. Right. But I did it and it works out better. And I don't have to, I haven't done that in years. So, now it's fine. But the conversation needed to be had, like you said, like two adults, but I was still acting like a child with a tantrum because I wanted what I had and I felt like somebody stole my monkey. That's an inside joke. My daughter, my baby girl will understand that. But I felt like somebody stole my ice cream and it's like, I just want it back. It's right there. I can see it, right? All I know is the romantic man that I fell in love with was right here in front of me. But for whatever reason, we were so distant and the romance wasn't there anymore. The love was there, but that was even different too. So all I know is I can see him and I can touch him, but where is it?
Yeah, it's different when you're growing, but when you're growing, you're not growing together, then you're growing apart. You know, so we grow and we change, and a lot of times that change isn't always for the best when it comes to relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep. The other thing I want to say is, right, planning quality time. Now, a lot of people plan quality time, but that quality time comes in the form of a vacation, a staycation, or some kind of mini getaway, right? Oh, we're going to plan this, or we're going to go plan that. Well, you mean to tell me I got to sit there and wait all that time for that to happen? Why can't we plan quality time every week? Why can't we plan something, a romantic date once a month, right? Why can't we plan it then? Why do we have to pick one or two times out of the year to do it? Why can't we sit down and talk about it, right? I know a lot of my issue was, well, I just want you to figure it out. Well, I just want this. Or, well, I want that. And then it's like, I had the one girlfriend whose husband was romantic, right? Got on my last nerve.
Got on mine too. I would hear about what he was doing. And ladies, that's the last thing your husband wants to hear about is what some other man is doing. Nobody care about what he's doing. If you want that, you gonna be with him. That's the reply you're gonna get.
So I think that it got on my nerves because she was like, oh, look, he put, and I'm not saying no names, but oh, look, he made a heart rose on the bed and flowers and leading up to the bed. And I was like, oh, girl, good for you. Side eye.
And I'm like, he probably don't even like her like
that. So yeah, that even caused the problem. And that's why we have to be careful not to pull that stuff into our relationship, but to really just engage with one another and talk about what is romance. Because what is romance to me might not be romance to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I think it's important that, like for me, I had to know what is it that you like. And I would say, well, just tell me, what do you want? I want you should know what I want, or you should figure it out. I can't figure out what you like, because to me, it seems like you keep moving the goalposts. Like, I do this and, oh, that would be nice, but if you'd have did this, it'd have been better. Well, then tell me what it is that you like so I know what to do. Mm-hmm. So I think if we can come to, these are the things I like, and that comes through time. I think that it comes through just experience and doing things together.
Right. It does come through time.
But you brought up something about scheduling. Like you talked about having time besides just like a getaway once a year or twice a year.
Right.
We always hear people say, oh, yeah, you got to have a date night. People say that, yeah, we got a date night. How many people actually do their date night every week? Right? It doesn't always have to be on Friday because our schedules are crazy, but it should be at least one day.
Right.
It may not be the same day every day.
And it might
or
look
every
different,
week,
though.
But it has to be something, yeah.
And it might look different, right? So you got to identify what date night is, right? Because I don't care. I love the game, right? Game like PlayStation and Xbox. So if we just in our game room playing a game with some snacks and some wings and talking crap to one another, I'm good with that. Matter of fact, I think I jump on there probably more than he does nowadays. But I'm good with that. And that's what we gotta understand. Like, what does date night mean? And you probably like, Ellison, that is not even romantic. Listen, when you had a man that's gone as much as mine, I don't care if I got to stand in the bathroom while he on the toilet. I'm gonna be in there with him.
You finna be in there with me.
But I'm just saying, I don't mind. It doesn't have to mean we're spending money because, like you said earlier, the men have this mentality to handle it all, and if finances are tight, but you want romance, and I think that means we got to spend $100-$200 to eat something to go down our digestive system to come out within 24 hours. I'm pooping money, right? So let our men off the hook. Like, what is romance? Can we go share some Cold Stone or Sweet Frog? Can we do those things, right? The other thing about romance is attached to love, and love is an action word. But how many times do we show each other we love each other, right? Who holds hands? When y'all walk in, who holds hands? When y'all in a car, who holds hands?
Yeah.
Right? We even hold hands in our sleep. Yeah. So we do. Right? So who holds hands? Holding the hands is important. Right? That physical touch. That is all part of romance, that physical touch, right? The kissing, that's like, kissing. Most couples just hi, bye, and you barely touch lip or whatever. But when's the last time we really kissed? When's the last time you really kissed your spouse? Right? That intimate spouse. You want the romance, but we're not creating the space for romance, if that makes sense, right? Because the cares of life or whatever the case may be. But we have to make sure that part of our romance is love, and love is action. What are we doing to keep the romance alive?
Yeah. I also think it's important that we do understand what our wives need from us, and that we are able to give you space to remind us sometimes, and not just be so angry all the time. But what helped me was the way that you started coming to remind me. That the way you reminded me changed, and the way you reminded me changed from the way you used to do it, and that made it a pleasure to want. You would say, "Babe, I didn't get a card this month," and I'm like, "Oh man," so that like, "Oh yeah, I need to do that." That sounds so much different than, well, what you did. And as soon as you start getting
with the neck,
I'm already like, man, I'm already like in a defensive posture. Like, I got to protect myself because she's about to go off.
Right.
But when you come at me in a little softer tone, I feel like I would give you whatever you want. I give you the world, because that's what I want to do.
Right. And that's what we have to do. We got to make sure we have a softer tone. So we talked about all the ways that can disconnect romance and stuff, but the ways to, keep the fire going is definitely what I talked about the connection piece, right? That physical touch, embrace, and a real genuine hug, right? A real genuine hug is a way that you can definitely keep the romance alive. Keep the love alive, right? So, and I said this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. Love is an action word. How are you showing your spouse you love them, right? Good evening,
Hey, what's going on, Val? How you doing, sis?
Good evening. Yes. So how are you showing love, right? And if you're not showing love, then it's time for you to evaluate you. And the whole other part about it is we have to look at ourselves because, again, like I said earlier, I know my mouth wasn't the best, and granted, I didn't cuss and all that other stuff, but there was times. But most of the time, I'm not a cusser. That's just not me. But that don't mean I can't shred you up, right? So it was how I was coming to him, how I was saying things, right? And just because I needed it and I was lacking, I felt romance deficient. You know how we have vitamin D deficiency? I was vitamin R deficient, right?
You get your vitamin R.
I didn't get that. So I was going to say it loud and say it proud. But in all the while, I was just throwing oil on the fire. and it wasn't sparking nothing.
I felt like you thought the more you said it and the louder you said it, that I would hear you. And I'm like, no, I heard you the first 50 times you said something. Now you're just aggravating me, and now I don't want to do it. You know, that's really what it boiled down to.
Yes.
But I think it's very important that I think it's very important.
Just 50? I think it was more than that.
I think it's very important that we put forth the effort to be romantic.
Yeah.
Right. I'm very easygoing, but I am a hothead. I can go from 0, and people say it all the time, 100 real quick. I can go to 1,000 like at a drop of a hat. And so with the elevating of the voice, it don't take me long to automatically be defensive. And she's like, "What you being defensive for?" And I'm like, "Why are you raising your voice?" I'm not raising my voice. I'm just being passionate. And so it can go somewhere it doesn't need to go. But if we understand we need to be available for our spouse. There are a lot of men that are a whole lot better at this than me, at being romantic, a lot better than me. But what I've learned is that it's important to know that this is something that she needs. This is something that you need.
Yes.
And because I love you, I have to put forth the effort to be better. I might not be the best.
Right.
But when I do try, right, acknowledge what I'm trying to do. Right?
Yes.
And I think when we do that, it really goes a long way.
And I'm glad that you brought that out, because my romance back when I was in my 20s don't look the same, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, he walks me to the car. And when I come home, he comes and gets me out the car with my bag, right? So all of that to me is romantic to me, right? Respect and honor precedes romance. And I would just put them all together for me, right? Because I do respect and I do honor, but I still want my romance. Mm-hmm. But romance looks different. I still like my cards, right? I still like the flowers that he gives me every so often, but I don't really harp on those. But for me to come from one time when both of us was here, but not to want to be here, to look forward to him coming to the car to get me when I pull up in the driveway to carry my bag in the house, that's romantic to me. And when I don't see him, I text him. I'm like, "Babe, I'm home," right? Because I'm getting accustomed to that, and I love that, because that lets me to know that, hey, he's mindful of me. He knows I'm coming home. Where you at, babe? Sometimes he's already standing out there, and I appreciate that. Walking me to my car, giving me a kiss, praying for me. Like, that is romantic to me. That's ministering to my heart. But that's me. Mm-hmm. You got to say what works for you. Mm-hmm. And don't be scared to share it with your partner, mm-hmm. so that y'all can keep romance alive. There's no sense of sitting in a relationship scrolling on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever else they got out there, X, all of that, wishing and wondering what you want, versus having that conversation, not yelling, with your partner about what it is that we can do. What are some romantic goals we can set? What does that look like? What is a romantic goal, right? I like the fall now. These hot flashes are real. I like the fall. So I'll be like, "Babe, can we just drive down somewhere and look at the leaves?" Like, to me, that's great. I don't need all that fancy stuff, right?
It's not better than that 4-star, 5-star hotel she used to talk about all the time.
Well, listen, when we go away, work hard, play hard.
No, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. So to keep romance alive is like, set those romantic goals. Ask each other, what does romance mean to you? Do things together. So many couples do things and they never do things together. I need to do me. He needs to do him. But we got to do more than one time or twice a year on vacation. Yeah. Right? Yeah, I think that's important.
Fellas, being able to provide romance for your wife, it helps you out. Mm-hmm. You hear what I'm saying? It makes it easier for you, because you're ministering to a need that she's expecting, right? So you're turning the stove on low and you simmering that pot in the morning, so that when they get in the nighttime, you ain't gotta do a whole lot of work. You ain't gotta worry about it. It just happens. It just happens.
Yes. I agree. You simmer the pot. You can't just sit up there, wait till she come home, and then try to turn it up on high. So Valerie said, that's back in the school day stuff. I carry my books, baby. Yes, Valerie. But I love that. I love that, and we get to chat, not just how was your day? How was your day? Not just like that, but it's really like, tell me about your day. We talk about it, or we have dinner or whatever the case may be, and we're discussing literally what our day is. Don't
Mhm.
So we're literally discussing all of that, and I love that. I love that because for so many years we didn't have that.
That's what I was about to say. For so many
Yeah.
years, we didn't have that. Being retired, being home, even before I was retired, I had a job where I was at, I was able to still walk you to the car, right?
Yes.
And it started
And
off
have
because
coffee on the back.
had coffee in the morning in the back porch. It started off because going to the office, she was carrying a lot of her books. When she would go see clients, she would carry a lot of books and a laptop and everything. And the bag was heavy. And I went, well, here, let me carry it to the car. And it just became the thing where, well, you can't carry your bag. I'm gonna carry your bag.
And all that stuff don't even be in there no more.
Don't even be nothing in the bag, right? But one laptop.
Right.
But that's kind of like the thing I do, and she knows it, and I know it. And it's kind of like if it doesn't happen, it's like, well, you didn't carry your bag, or you ain't carry my bag, and it's like, oh man, I just committed treason, or something bad just happened because I forgot to carry the bag. So what you do to get her, you got to do to keep her. So it's important that I think
grace is important too.
Somebody said consistency.
Yeah, consistency. But then there's grace, because there's times like when you're tired, I'm like, babe, I got it. And I'm like, I got it. Because I can do it. I just appreciate it and I like it. So basically, what we're saying is, you have to spark the flame and keep it going. You got to keep things right. It's like romance is like what? Embers.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either douse some water on it, or you can constantly keep flaming it by your behaviors, your communication, right? Connect with each other. Connect, right? And if I'm not being able to connect with my partner, then I need to figure out what's going on in me that I can't connect with my partner, because I can't worry about him. He's got to worry about his own self to connect with me. But we got to connect, guys. And that's how you really keep romance alive. Connection, and making sure that you use love as a action and not just word. Because I love Butter Pecan. I love Call of Duty. I love Finals now, the other game we play. I mean, people just use the word love. But really, truly love your partner and be supportive partners so that we can have that romance. Right? Mm-hmm. You got anything?
Yeah, I think we spent an hour talking about romance. It's definitely needed. But next time we might have to talk about respect.
We can definitely do that.
Because romance is definitely something ladies need. It's definitely something, maybe some guys need it too. But I think it's something that is helpful to the relationship. But it is something we should be doing. We should be romantic for our wives. Mm-hmm. But we got to talk about some respect.
Yeah, one of the comments said respect and honor, if I'm not mistaken. So we need
put some respect on my name. We're going to talk about some respect.
With a K?
With a K, respect.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we have been talking about, keeping the romance alive. And thank you for tuning in with us. And thank you for your comments. If you just joined, go back and watch it, because we had fun talking about this, right?
Yeah.
So, and share this out, because there's so many couples that are going through and they don't know how to come out of it. And that's our goal. That's what God assigned us to do, is to help one another, right? We are all in this together. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Thank you again for joining me, baby.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. You've been watching Real Talk with Ellasin, and y'all have a wonderful and a blessed evening. Good night, y'all.